All right, so then flipping over, since we're starting from the back, moving to the front, looking at number 9 on the chapter 5 part. I think it's page 51. Yeah. All right, it says beverage A and beverage B are sold in identical cans. Basically meaning it'd be like me having my Coke Zero can and my regular Coke can. Okay? It says beverage A is 8% sugar. The portion of beverage B that is sugar is 2,800. How many times more sugar is beverage B than beverage A? You're comparing here. Okay? You're comparing beverage A, which is 8%, to beverage B, which is 2,800. They're not in the same form. You cannot compare unless they're in the same form. Just like you can't compare feet and inches, they both have to either be in feet or they both have to be in inches. So we need to convert. Do we want to convert from a percent to a decimal or a decimal to a percent? Percent to decimal, and the reason I would do that is because all my answer choices are in decimal form. So I'm going to want my answer to come out as a decimal, so I want to change it to a decimal. So I need to change 8% to a decimal. How do I do that? So you put your 8 and your percent sign, and then you can do the double arrows, and it gives you a fraction, right? And then if you hit the double arrows again, it gives you your decimal, which is what?
0.0.
All right, so we have 800ths and we have 2,800ths. It asks us how many times, which means multiplication is going on, right? Mm-hmm. This times what gives me 2,800. How can I figure that out? Divide it. So I'm going to have to do 2,800ths divided by 800ths. What does that give me?
3.5.
3.5.
Yeah, I got that right.
So your biggest thing here to remember on a problem like this is you want them to be converted to the same form. That's the word I was looking for. So what I would do is I would change to match form. So percent to percent, decimal to decimal, a fraction to fraction. I would want to make sure that they are the same. Okay? Question number 10. It says you lose an online auction for an autograph. It's kind of like eBay. Y'all ever done anything on eBay before? Seen eBay? How it works? Okay.
It's a cheap place.
Your losing bid of $42 is 60% of the winning bid. So did you win or lose? You lost. Okay. How much did you pay? How much did you bid anyway? $42. Okay. How much less was your bid than the winning bid? You're going to have one just like this on your test. Okay? So in order to figure out how much less, you need to know how much the winning bid actually was, right? You did 42, and if you lost, that means the bid was bigger or smaller? Bigger, because they won. So we're looking for something bigger than 42. I see a percent sign. That's going to make a light bulb go off in my head, and what am I going to do? I'm going to put it in a percent box. Or you can do is and of. The easiest one to put in the box first is which number? 100. Well, $100 guaranteed. But from the problem, what's the easiest one to put in the box? 60, because I automatically know where that number is going to go. It only has one place it could go. Where does it got to go? In the percent box. If it has a percent sign, the only place it can go is the what? Percent box. It cannot go anywhere else except for the percent box. Okay? That's why I like it when they give me the percent, because I know exactly where it goes. 42 is kind of questionable. Okay? Is it going to go in the part or in the whole? Whole. Why the whole?
Because
It has the of.
But would it be 42 is?
So it's the whole.
Because 42 is.
So does it go in the part and the whole?
The part.
It goes in the part. Alright, think about it. You lost, right? So your price is smaller than the one that actually won. So your part has to be smaller than your whole. Because what it's saying is your losing bid of $42 is $42 is 60% of the winning bid.
Because I put it in the whole first and then go at 25.2.
And think about that. Does that make sense? That they won with $25.20 when you lost? When you lost with a $42 bid? No. So you could have tested and tried that, but then you would have you should have gone off in your head and go, wait a second, this doesn't sound right.
I do.
Okay? You've got to look at it as part and the whole, because 60% of this number is going to be 42. So when you cross multiply and divide here, what do you get? 70. So if the bid was 70 and you lost at 42, how much did you lose by? You have to do 70 minus 42, which gives you $28. On your test Wednesday, you're going to have one like this, but with different numbers. That's not going to have multiple choices, though, for you to pick from. You're going to have to fill it in. And you're going to have to pay attention. You're going to have to answer both parts. Okay? Number 11. The width of a rectangle is 60% of its length. What is the area of the rectangle? So we're having to figure out the area. Well, for area, how do I find area? Multiply area equals length times width. Well, I have my length, but do I have my width? No, that's what I'm having to find. And it's telling me it's 60% of the 40.
So we have to put it in a ratio.
We have to put in a percent box. So percent, 100 is of or part to whole.
Okay.
I'm waiting. So what can I plug in?
You can put your 60% in the other percent box.
All right.
Your 40 would go in.
Your 40 would go in part.
Your 40 would go in. Your 40 would go in the whole because it after 60 says part.
Yeah.
And it's your whole.
And it's your whole, right? Because which is going to be longer, the width or the length? The length is longer, which is what this 40 represents, is the length. Okay, you're trying to find the width. So when you cross multiply and divide,
You get
24.
you get 24. Is 24 my answer?
No.
No.
You have to
Why?
divide it by 6. You have to subtract it. You have to.
What is the question? What is the
multiply.
area? Okay, 24 is not our answer. If you were to put 24 down as the answer, you'd be wrong, because that's the width. That's this right here.
Because you already know the other side.
So when you find area, you just do
So all you have to do is
40 times 24,
and then you get 960.
960.
Oh. So what do you do? Multiply it?
When you, to find the area, you multiply length times width. You did 40 times 24.
Oh, I get it.
A restaurant holds an anniversary celebration. Of 90 diners who visit during the anniversary celebration, 27 are offered free dessert. What percent of the diners are not offered free dessert? I see the word percent. So what am I thinking I'm going to need to do?
Put it in the
Put it in my percent box. Part to whole. Do we know the percent?
No.
That's what we're looking for, right? So we don't know this box. What's our whole here? 90. That's the amount of people who came to dine at the restaurant. Right? What's our part?
And that's how many were offered.
Alright, so when I cross multiply and divide,
You get 30. You get 30.
I get what? 30%. Is that my answer? Why?
You have to subtract.
Why?
Because you have to subtract.
You're getting there.
Yeah, you have to subtract.
Alright, so it asks for the percent that were not offered free dessert. So 30% of them were offered free dessert. So how much, what percentage were not? You could have, and then put that there. But we're talking about the percentage. We already figured out the percentage that did get offered a dessert. So if it's out of 100%, how many did not get free dessert? 70. Because 100, there's 100% people. Only 30% of them were offered dessert. How many of them were not? 70%. So that was enough, because look what other answer choice was there. 30. So if you didn't read your question carefully, you would have picked the 30 and you would have kept moving on, in which you've gotten it right. Before you move on, you need to go back and look at the question, ask what the question is asking of you, and go, did I answer the question? Okay? Because I would have done it too. I would have gotten 30. I would have seen 30 as my answer choice. I would have picked it and moved on, not thought twice about it. You have to slow down. That's why I keep telling y'all, I'm time again, y'all are brilliant children, especially in this class. Y'all are all brilliant. Your biggest hang up is not paying attention to those small little details. That's what gets you. Okay. Any questions from this page right here? We don't understand or we need to go back over?
I'm understanding.
If I gave you these 3 questions right here, could you do them on your own at this point?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Here we have another put in order from least to greatest. We've already talked about this a little bit, but do you see how I have all 3 forms in this problem? And number 5. Can I compare these like this? No. What am I going to need to do? Are you either put in a fraction, or a decimal, or a percent? Okay.
I think we can put it in a decimal.
All right. There's several decimals.
I think we should go to percent. I think we should do percent.
Alright, so I'm here percent or decimal. We can do either one. I personally would not change it to a fraction because if you change it to a fraction, you're going to have different denominators and then you're going to get into all of that mess. I would either change it to percent or I'd change it to decimals. Okay? Either one of them. So I would change to either all percent or all decimal. So we've got 2%, and I've got 2 decimals. So we're split 50-50. Alright? So we can decide which one we want to change it to. We can do percents if you want to. Right now we've already got 93%. I want to change 9/10 to a percent.
We have another 2.
I'm just going down in the order. 9/10 as a percent. How would I put that in my calculator? You put 9/10, and then you have to hit the second, and then the change to percent sign. And what do you get? You get 90%. Okay? Now we have 0.099 that we need to change to a percent. So 0.099 change to percent,
It'll be 0.
you get 9.9%. Make sure you're not hitting the percent sign, you're hitting the change to percent. It's the closing parentheses that has the little triangle with the percent sign over it. It's right next to the multiplication sign. Alright, and then I have 0.915%, so we don't have to change that one. And then I need to change 0.092 to a percent. 9.2%. So which one is the smallest? This one's not even one whole percent. 0.915? Yeah, you're right. It's 0.915%. So we're good. Got this one. That's the first one. What's going to be your second one? The 9.2%. So the 0.092. This one right here, right?
Which way do we put it in? Do we put it in
Your least.
that form or this?
You got to put it back in the form that they give them to you. So what's your third one going to be?
9.9.
Which is 0.099. And then what? Then your 90%, which is 9/10, right? And then your 93%. You will have one just like this as well. Basically, every one that we're doing, we're going to have one just like it. Okay? I'm going to skip 6 and 7 because you should be able to put those in what?
Ratio box.
In a percent box, yep. Alright, number 8. It says the table shows the portions of cotton in 3 shirts. Which shirt has the highest portion of cotton? We're comparing, so we need to change them all to something. Kennedy said change to a percent. Y'all be able to change them to a percent? Alright, so 21 over 25 as a percent. You need to this is the time to make sure you know how to do it. If you don't know how to do it, you need to ask. So everybody needs to try and put this in your calculator. If you don't know how to do it, this is when you need to say something. You should get 84%. If you do not, then you need somebody to show you how to do it. Alright, you get 84%. Alright, we need to change this one to a percent. 82 hundredths to a percent.
82.
You should get 82%. Everybody type it so that you know how to do it. If you do not know how to do it, you need to either ask me or a buddy.
I got 82.
I got 82.
What did you put in?
If you put 0.82 in the calculator, then you hit the second button, and then if you'll hit that close parentheses that has the triangle with the percent over it, and hit enter, it'll give you 82%. So we have 80%, 84%, and 82%. Which is greater?
84.
B, 84. You need to know how to work these calculators. Do we need to go over how to convert percents to fractions or to decimals or anything like that? Or do you know how to do it on your calculator?
I know how to do it.
Do you just press
Hold on, let me make sure I do
142?
So you put 142, then you're going to have to hit your second, then you're going to hit that open parentheses button that has the percent over it, and then you're going to hit the double arrows,
And that's 70.
and then enter,
70.
and you get what?
70 over 50.
You get 70 over 50, but it asks for it as a,
It's 71 over.
Mix.
so for a mixed number, do y'all remember how to change it to a mixed number?
It's 71 over 50.
Oh, sorry. Alright, so change it to a mixed number, step 2 is you keep that there, right? Then you hit the second button, and then you hit that x times 10 to the nth power.
121. 50. I did that in my
Yeah. Because you have to do the. Where's
It's 2 buttons over from the clear. Alright, another way you could have done this without using your calculator. Percent is out of what? What's the total of percent going to be? 100. You can take your percent and put it over a 100. It's improper, right? How many 100s are in 142? How many 100s can I pull out though? 1, leaving me 42 over 100 left. If I simplify 42 over 100, I would get 21 over 50. Both of these answers would have been correct. Okay? Do we know how to change a percent to a fraction?
Yeah. You just press the arrows.
You just hit the double arrows. And if you hit it again, it'll change it to a decimal for you. Okay? While unpacking a box of canned vegetables, you notice that 2 out of 40 cans are dented. Select all the values that are equivalent to 2 out of 40. What's another way we can write 2 out of 40? A fraction. Okay? We could write 2 240 because it's a ratio. We could write 2 240, Or we could write 2/40. And then what I would do is I would try and see, does this equal any of these? Well, we have to look at it in the form of a decimal, a percent, and a fraction. So I would put 2/40ths, and I would try my conversions and see if I would try it as a decimal, try as a fraction, try as a percent, and see what you get. Thank you. So what is 2/40 as a simplified fraction? If I put 2/40 in my calculator and I hit enter, it simplifies it, which gives me 1/20. Is that an answer option? Yeah, for this one. Is 4/5 equivalent to that? Is 4/5 the same as 1/20?
No.
No, so that can't be an option. What is 4/20 as a percent? So to figure that out, I have to put 4/20. I hit the second button and I hit the change to percent, and what do I get? I get 20%. Oh wait, I did that wrong. Not 2/, it's 2/40, my bad. 2/40. I was gonna say that didn't make sense. 2/40 changed to a percent is 5%. So can 5% be equal to 20 or 40%? No. So it's also equal to 5%. What is 4/20 as a decimal? How can we figure that out? How do we figure out that? What do we do to make that a decimal? How do I make 2/40 a decimal? You just type it in and you click the little arrows and hit enter, and what do you get? You get 500ths, right? Is this any of those decimals right there? So we only get one answer, right? You have to be careful because sometimes it might be all the answers. Sometimes it might be one, sometimes it might be two. Because it says select all, so they're trying to throw you off. What's your question there? No, what was it? How do I do what?
Are we allowed to use our little cheat sheet for this on our test?
We gotta go home and memorize it? It's funny. It's a test. Well,
So we're going to give us any answers.
have you been having it out to work your calculator today?
Not today.
So,
I don't even know how to do it.
Wait, but you,
that is called studying, guys.
I didn't click the arrows.
Honey, it's just the arrows.
I used it 2 times.
You have to click it once, hit enter, click it again, then hit enter.
Just see if it makes sense.
You see what I'm saying now? This. Double arrows. If I want to go back, I have to hit that. All right, here's another example. All right, which is greater? So what do you want to change them to?
the third percent.
To percent. So put it in your count. This is your time to try it. 3,700 as a percent.
Oh, it's 37%.
What did you get, Jerry? You get it?
It's 37 books in the
Alright, so we get
You don't have to
37% or 41%. Which is greater? 41. If I wanted to go from 41% to a decimal, okay, I would put in 41. Then I'd have to do second. Then I'd have to put in the open parentheses, which has the percent over it, right? And then I would hit the double arrows. Then I would hit enter. If you were worried about this, I might have brought it down. And then I would hit the double arrows again. That's how you go from a percent to a decimal. If I wanted to go from a percent to a fraction, I wouldn't have to hit the double arrow a second time. Okay? You flip it over. All right, number 14 on chapter 4. Now we're talking about ratios. We're not talking about percents. Just going back to regular ratios. Okay, it says the ratio of three numbers is 2 to 7 to 1. The sum of those numbers have to equal 30. What are those three magic numbers? So our three magic numbers have to stay in the ratio of 2 to 7 to 1. So if I do the ratio again, if I go again, what it would be 4 to what? 14 to 2. If I went again, it would be what? 6 to 3. If I went again, so now I'm multiplying by 4, I would get 8, 28 to 4.
8 times 4 is what?
You're multiplying this. So you're multiplying the original ratio by 4. Okay? We're trying to get to 30. When I add these numbers up, I get 2 plus 7 plus 1, I get 10. 4 plus 14 plus 2 gives me 20. 21 plus 6 plus 3 gives me 30. 28 plus 8 plus 4 gives me 40. I'm looking for a total of 30. So what's our magic number?
6, 21, and 30.
If I gave you 4 to 5 to 1, or not 1, let's do 3. And you wanted to get to a total of 48. How could you figure that out?
Just multiply the middle number.
What's my total right now? If I were to add all these up, what would be my total right now? 12. I'm trying to get to 48.
So
How many times am I going to have to do that to get to 48? 12 times what? Gives me to 48. 4. So if I had to multiply everything by 4, 4 would become 16. 5 would become 20. And 3 would become 12. What if I gave you the numbers 5, 6, 7. 5, 6, 7. What's the total here? What's 5 plus 6 plus 7?
16.
Alright, 18, I got 16. What is it?
Let me see. 5
wait,
plus
18.
It's 18.
yes, 18.
Alright. If I was trying to get to 36,
Oh, 2.
It's 36. 18 plus 6.
Wait.
if I was trying to get to 36, how many times does it take for 18 to get to 2 times? So if it takes times 2, then I have to multiply these times 2. So what would my magic numbers be?
10, 60,
Times 2.
oh,
honey.
sorry, 12 and 14.
And if I add all those numbers up, do they equal 36?
Yes.
Yes. So everybody kind of understand how we figured out those magic numbers? Alright. Cross out 15. We're not doing that one. Cross out 16. We're not doing that one. Alright.
Oh, wait, are we working?
So we have conversions here. On your test, you will be given the conversion. You won't have to look it up in the conversion sheet. It'll say 12 inches equal 1 foot, or however, whatever you're using, it'll tell you what the conversion factor is. Okay? So the conversion factor for feet to yards is that there are 3 feet equaling 1 yard. If you would stack them up on each other like that, guess what they make? They make a ratio box. So if you cross multiply and divide,
18.
what do you get? 18. So 54 feet equals how many yards? 18. If I told you that 1,000 grams equals 1 kilogram, how many does 80 grams equal?
12.
Nope. Set it up like a ratio box. Cross multiply 80 times 1 divided by 1,000. Y'all are doing 1,000 divided by 80. There's a reason why I tell you to put it in the box and then put it in one line on the calculator, so that everything stays in the order that it needs to be. Put it in the ratio box.
Put it in a ratio box.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, we're not worried about number 9.
No, number 9.
All right, number 11. You and your friends skate at the same rate. Rate means ratio. So if I see the word rate or ratio, what am I going to make? Ratio box. All right. You complete 5 laps in 7 minutes. How long does your friend take to complete 15 laps? Before you plug numbers in, What are your labels? You have to label your boxes. This is how we end up not doing well. What is our labels going to be?
Laps and minutes.
In minutes. And you might think, oh, I can do this in my head. I don't have to have the labels. Says the person who got it wrong. Please just take 2 seconds to write your labels down. Okay? So my first rate, or what is my ratio or my rate? How many laps and how many minutes?
5 to 7.
Okay? Your question says 15 what? So it needs to go in the laps part. So when you cross multiply and divide, how many minutes is it going to take?
21.
21 minutes. All right, number 12, you should be able to do on your own because guess what you're going to put in it? What you're going to make?
A ratio.
A ratio box. All right, cross out 13. We're not going to worry about 13.
Yeah, we're not worried about you.
All right, this one right here is the one I want to get to. All right, because this was one of those IXL assignments that y'all somehow do not do well with. All right, I want to change this 25 right here to a 30. How do I find these missing numbers in this ratio box? What do I have to do, Jerry? It's a ratio box, right?
Yeah.
Like, cross multiply 6 times 15 divided by 5, 18. So how am I going to find this one right here? The next box.
You go down and you capture 18 and 15 with 30. You capture it all.
All right, and so what? Cross multiply 15 times 30 divided by 18 equals 25. All right, now we cross multiply 30 times 30 divided by 25, and I get. Okay, that's part of the question. The second part of the question is going to have you graphing it. Okay? These right here are your ordered pairs, your X and your Y, like y'all learned last year how to graph. Okay? You're going to have the titles on your axes. Down at the bottom, you have time, and down up at the top, you have distance. Okay, in miles. It's not numbered for you, is it? The one on your test is not going to be numbered for you. So what do you go by?
You go by the numbers that you have.
You go by the numbers that's up at the top. So here we're going to skip count the time by 6. Well, whatever it starts with, that's what you're going to skip count by. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42. So your distance, you're going to skip count by what?
5.
So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. And now you're going to graph it. Okay? So I'm coming down here to my time. At 6 minutes, how far can I go?
5.
According to my chart, at 6 minutes I go 5. At 12 minutes, well, it's 12 minutes in my chart. Under time, it's 12 minutes in my table.
No.
So I'm going to skip 12. It's 18. How far do I go in 18 minutes? So I'm going to go up to 15. Do I have 24 in my table? 24 under minutes? Do I have 30 under my minutes? Do I have 30 under the minute? How far do I go in 30 minutes? Up to 25. Do I have 36 in my table under minutes? In 36 minutes, how far can I go? Do you notice how if I were to connect all of these, it'd make a straight line?
Yeah.
If it doesn't make a straight line, you've done something wrong.
I did something.
It should always make a straight line when you make a table like that.
It's like this one.
Oh my
All right. One more thing. On number 6, it says unit rate. Unit rate means what? To divide. It also means 1. So it means to either divide, or it means 1. So the rest of these you use a ratio box with. These you're writing your ratios. Ratio box. And then here you're comparing ratios. What method do we use when we compare ratios? It's the same one we use when we compare fractions. What method do you use to, if you have fractions, what method do you use to compare them or to see if they're equivalent or not?
Oh, dude, what?
The butterfly. So like this one, if I have 5 to 12 and I have 8 to 13, how would I see which one's bigger? What do I do? The butterfly, which is cross multiplication. So I think you get 65 here and you get 96 there. But the rest of these are just ratio boxes. So for tonight, I think there's like 5 or so problems left. Work on finishing that because that's what we're going to do with our review game. You got to have the answers on your study guide because if your name gets called or drawn, you have to have it on your paper and it has to be worked out and shown correctly for you to get to be part of the game. Okay? Make sense? All right. Sounds good. All right, go ahead and